Welcome, welcome.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome you to our channel. We are, as always, H&D Abroad. I'm Herman.
I'm Dee, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. It is right before Christmas time, and we hope that you have reached your unstressed point in this shopping strategy. We know so many people get bogged down in the Christmas season, but hopefully you get the opportunity to spend time with family and loved ones.
And rest.
That's a big deal. So how are you today, Miss D?
Well, I smell cookies baking.
Yes, cookies are baking.
So I've been up making, my children have decided they do not want the holidays without it smelling like the holidays in our house, even though they're not here.
They don't even live here.
Our son came out last night. I make a hot apple cider, and he was like, "These are this is the smell of the season." So, cinnamon and spices, and I make a Chex Mix.
Yeah, we put her in work over the season. So I got some sweet potato pies I'm gonna have on this afternoon.
Ooh, and the pecan pie.
Yeah, and I got some peanut butter cookies just came out of the oven. I'll do some chocolate chip later. I don't know who's gonna eat all this stuff because
I keep saying, why do y'all want us to make all this? But what we have decided to do is make and share. So most of our family and friends are not getting monetary gifts. They're getting the gift of homemade items. So yeah, we're boxing them up and getting them out of here. Out the door. So
because we done already nibbled, and we're like, no, bag it up, zip it up, put it away. So we enjoy doing it. It's not a bad day today. We're hoping we'll catch a little bit of this. It's a little bit of a quote unquote heat wave coming through, a little warmth. So we're trying to enjoy this holiday as much as we can. I want to say hi to Tanya Brooks and hey Greta. Hey Nikki and David. Diane Heidelberg, good to see you.
Absolutely. So I am really excited. When we started talking about, okay, so how do we start lining up what needs to be our priorities for next year? I think I have said on this channel before, especially, October, November, December, I'm starting to do the things that I want to accomplish in the next year. I start doing them in the last quarter of the year prior, just to go ahead and get momentum. So January is not where I'm starting up.
Right.
So one of the things that we've done is kind of taken a look at how our budget has fared this year. It has, as we've shared, it has been, we've had some unexpected expenses and things really felt off the rails. I mean, like we were having a lot come at us. So I was like, we have to double down on our household budget, but also looking at this idea of, when we're moving out of the US, we are not taking the jobs we are currently working.
Correct.
And so one of the pieces of the conversation that has been disturbing, some of the questions that I've seen in some of the Facebook groups, is how much money do I need to have saved before I can move abroad? And
I'm finding more and more people are being cautious with how they answer that.
Right. And let's see. So we watch a channel. The young man is in Pattaya, Thailand, the Isaiah Ashley Show. So if you have a chance, go watch Isaiah and support him. But he really drove home a point that we want to be able to champion directly this year, is if you are leaving the US or your home country, you should have a savings. I mean, don't get out here and leave and you're just kind of winging it. The plan is savings plus some way that income is coming in every month.
Mm-hmm.
So we are in our early 50s. So that means we don't have a pension. We currently don't have a rental property that could give us income, or properties that could give us income that would cover our cost of living. So it needs to be a combination of savings plus some way that money is coming in every month. So that income plus savings is the combination that we think is going to help us. So, other advice that we've heard that we are instituting in that on the income side
Mm-hmm.
is, let's see, so we are both going to work.
Correct.
But the idea that I don't have to make the money that I'm making in the US was a hard one to let go. I started working on myself with this in about 2021. And that was really when I started listening to Exodus Summit, Rashida, Adelia, and Stephanie. When you're making a significant amount of money, I won't give an exact amount, but when you're making a significant amount of money, you're looking to make that same amount outside the US.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I can't live on 40,000. It took me a while to be able to ramp up to the salary that I have. I want to take that with me.
The struggle also is not just your understanding of financial differences. As we were raised to do more than 40,000 a year. You that concept of doing better than your parents, doing more than your parents. So the numbers matter. Nikki said right here, this concept of my good job.
Ooh.
When I was 14.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. When I was 14, I said to my parents that I wanted to go into psychology. And I could see the hair raised on their neck because of many things. But one is that's a hard road to go down if you aren't committed to that. And I was as committed as I needed to that before I moved on. But that field of study did not break me into financial gain for a long time. Mm-hmm. And trying to decide as to use a common phrase, as head of household, as the man of the house, as provider of the home kind of thing, even though my wife has always worked and technically has always been financially better.
I haven't always worked.
Well, primarily, not always worked, but the larger part of the scheme has been a higher financial earner. You're still in your head that responsibility of I have to take care of my home. I got to make some money, and having to try to process that that I can work jobs that don't bring as much an income, but I would be in an environment where I would still do well, because I still want to do more than just break even. I still want to do more than just pay the bills. But I also want to begin to move away from I have to work 40 to 60 hours a week. If I'm gonna work 10 hours, $10 a day, 10 hours an hour, $12 an hour, and I still got to work 45 hours so that we can take care of all the things we need to take, I've lost. So there has to be a balance. And hey, our Exodus Life, good to see you. That's an excellent point right there. Your lifestyle depends. You have to decide what works in your home. What are you doing? Not only what is your lifestyle now, how much of your lifestyle do you need to change, and how much of that lifestyle do you plan to take with you into a new environment? I've watched people, we have people we watch who say, we completely changed our lifestyle. We made shifts, and those shifts helped us to grow. And there are other people who said, we have a lifestyle expectation, and that is the lifestyle we are meeting. And they have the resources, or have created the resources to make that work. What brings happiness to your house is important.
Well, let's see. So the reason why I was able to uncouple that I don't need to make the money that I make in the US is the cost of living is much more affordable in the places that are rising to the top of my list. And so I'm like, okay, so I can still make USD. That's if you are considering moving from the US and you are new to this concept, the first thing you need to understand is that it costs a lot to live in the States. When I say cost a lot, housing is always, regardless of where you live in the world, is going to be one of your largest expenses. And, we're looking at salaries in the States saying, okay, we would be living under a bridge. I think that was kind of the joke. We were like, outreach jobs, we can't do that. We'd be living under a bridge. Well, the amount of money that you need to live, you can get more comfortable with accepting a lower pay when you can see what does it cost to live there. So Sandra is in the chat. From Lack to Legacy is in the chat. Sandra opened, if you are not subscribed to her channel and you're thinking about Southeast Asia specifically, she is sharing, and she has shared her $325 a month apartment, her beautiful apartment. I was like, you don't need to make, you don't have to, you can make, you don't need to make $40,000 to be able to meet the rent of $325 or $350 in a one bedroom, $400 for a two bedroom. When we're looking at Spain, we are literally going to either people that are showing their monthly budgets or actually going to the places where houses are being listed. And we're like, okay, for a two bedroom, $600, $650 could get us, two bedroom, two bath, balcony in the middle of the city. Like, okay, so now I'm starting to look at real numbers and saying, how much do I need to earn to be able to afford my lifestyle? So income will shift. Now, the other side of that, and I love that Cartes has brought that forward on Move Abroad and Thrive, where he said, okay, so your cost of living is lower, so you feel like you can wild out on your budget. I can go out to eat. I can still eat my American food. I can go to, American fast food restaurants. And you can quickly see how, yes, life can be more affordable when you choose strategically, but you also have to be thoughtful about how you spend your money, or you're going to be in the same shape, living paycheck to paycheck in your new place.
Because it will put a dent in the budget. That's absolutely correct. Greta has a question here, and I think it ties into where we're going. Are you currently investing in addition to saving?
I'm getting to saving, Greta.
Well, because it's important. I did not, as a young husband, as a new marriage, was still a new worker. And I did not probably until recent years, not fully understand and comprehend the importance of the investing part. Savings was a conversation that was a part of your home. You spend, you save, you spend, you save. Investing was things that people above your pay grade did, and I'm understanding the investing piece now. I am years behind. I am years behind, and not having jobs that have had consistent 401ks for myself. Having in and out of 401ks. How long before I'm vested, and what to know what to do with that money when I'm having to catch up. I admit to that. That's a part of what is a process.
Yeah. So when you work in nonprofit, they don't match. They may make the 403B available to you, but you're saying you just want me to sit this over when you don't understand that. That's different from the savings account that you have. There's a lot of financial education we are now pulling close to us, because the people that are in the Move Abroad space, if you are not watching Our Rich Journey, like they turned it upside down for us in 2021, because they were literally sharing, this is what's in our investment portfolio. These are the things, these are the products that we're choosing. Let's look at it. We're going to invest in these. How did it grow or not grow? And they were sharing that quarterly. And I was like, y'all are doing really well. Anita shared, she was just like, I was just going in. If they bought that, once I started seeing that their portfolio was growing, I just matched what they did. Sometimes you have to start with what you understand. So ETFs was very easy for me to understand. I don't like risk, spread my risk as wide as I can. Dave Ramsey talks about, the different pots that your money should be in. And then I watch. And then if it's not doing what I wanted to do, then I should be doing research to find products that are stronger.
And that's where I was getting ready to comment on. I think it's important, and I'm saying this to Black people. It is okay to seek advice. We talk regularly as behavioral scientists about seeking therapy, seeking counseling for yourself as an individual, for yourself as a partner, for yourself as a parent, for yourself as a child. But seek financial counseling, seek financial assistance. We get this concept of self-remedying the illness. We translate into all areas of our lives, and then we wonder why the ish hit the fan and then why everything is blowing up. You're not an expert in everything. It is okay to spend some money to get advice so that you can make good money. And if you can find someone, and there are people in these groups who provide those services, but sometimes it's okay to sit across from your Caucasian brother and sister who are doing well and say, how are you making this work? And get the information you need so that you can succeed. Pride comes before a fall. Get off your stuff and find someone who can help you take care of your stuff. That is a challenge for us as Black people. Take your hands off the reins. Stop hiding your money under the mattress. Stop leaving your money in that 0.00001% interest savings account that never has made you money in the whole time you've had your $30 in there that you keep spending every time you take it out. It is important to find people and ask questions. I struggle with finding someone who can explain it to me. I need time to be explained to. I did some work with Sandra. Sandra is patient with me. And I'm coming back around because I need to start over, because I need I need to be able to see it. It has to make sense to me. I have to be able to walk through it.
So yes, so Sandra is from Lack to Legacy. She has trading Zoom calls. Get on her email list. They are trading together. I know she is configuring some new things for 2024. So be in place to get that information. Brown Girls Trade 2 is another channel that I follow. Money Coach Malika is someone else that I follow. These are sisters who I have been in relationship with watching their channels, but I've also asked some questions to see if their style matches with mine. Let's see, I think Sandra also pointed to the gentleman that also has a channel. So sometimes you just need to bump through some people to see if their teaching style matches with your needs. So if you need some one-on-one, get off that money, get some one-on-one help. Then don't sit because you feel like you don't know enough. And that, I was just like, if target date funds is all you understand, what I know is get that money taken out of my account, my payroll, every pay period. That money goes in, and then I set my target date fund up to as a predetermined investment mix. If that's what you can do, start with wherever you are, and then grow, in your understanding. Watch those. What do you call it? I think it's Yahoo has. They're talking about the market. Just the more familiar you get with the terms. Write down vocabulary you don't know or understand, because when you're in these groups, you can ask people, where can I find reliable information so that I understand what I'm hearing. So, yeah, people are sharing their stories.
Absolutely.
Diamond savings is paramount and it's not to be discounted, but I have, however, been successful with my previous income outside the US. Yes. That's right. What we're looking at is what will get us from 50 to 59 and a half, and then from 59 and a half to 62. And y'all, I'm hoping that this is the latter that is a reality, because I don't know where things are going to be in 12 years. Will Social Security be what it is now in 12 years?
And we're talking regularly about not letting Social Security be, let's assume we don't have it. And then planning for we don't have that. And then how do we prepare for something that may never come to fruition in just a few short years from my life? I know it's always been a scare, everybody think, but I have to prepare for that to drop, because this country is changing all the time. And as the old folk used to say, my future is my responsibility.
Yeah.
And I don't depend on anybody else for that. If there's an extra, that's great. But how are we depending on that? Sandra's talking about being a minimalist.
Yeah. I mean, if that is it, I just say this stuff cannot be the reason why I'm in a hole, that I can't move. I can't do what I need to do. Sandra said, I sold all my stuff, and that allowed me to live. It funded my first year without working. This stuff that we're just sitting, my kids don't want my stuff. I don't want to have to give it away. So I need to sell it. And maybe that gets us out of the door earlier, or it goes into that savings that will get us going. But I know I can't leave without having income. So the two strategies we are currently working, because I believe in the rivers of income. Y'all know I look over here whenever I say that, because I've got my Stephanie Perry list from Exodus Summit 2022. Where I identified the rivers of income. And so remote work is definitely one of them. Freelancing, thank you. Our Exodus Life, Alam has been a wonderful mentor in understanding that the future of work will grow the freelancing space. So we started the YouTube channel. We'll be outlining some new partnership opportunities, whether that's through affiliate sales, but also some consulting that we're going to do, just because if one thing closes, I need to have some, I don't want to be out there stressed out.
What we're having to, and this is a personal thing, is that we're having to accept that we have the skills, that we're good enough, that we're not trying to be experts. We're trying to share the best information we have to share with others. It is, and that is an opportunity for us to grow as we try to help others to grow. And so we're digging into, and we've done it before. Mm-hmm. We've been in holes before. It's how I got into culinary work, literally. And I will tell you, because I probably told before, literally, I could not find work at all. And we were on assistance. And I took some of that assistance funds and turned it into plates, and turned those plates into the mortgage payment. And that turned into a business I've now had for 10 years. I've been baking pies and cakes all week for people. Luckily, they're going out of the house, but and the baking came later. That wasn't even a part of the process. I went into it strictly making dinners and plates. And somebody said, "Hey, I need this." And I was like, "Of course I can do that." And I'd never done that before. We went home and we made it, and also started experimenting on things that I saw, and have turned that into a little business. We're about to push that up a notch because it's time for it to come to work again.
Better late than never. Yeah. I mean, it is never too late to start. I mean, that's self-explanatory. I want to make the idea of, I've been employed for, 20, 25 years. What could I be doing? I didn't know it before, but I'm ready to take action now. Where do I start? Mm-hmm. Where do I start?
Hey,
so,
Alpha.
Yeah. So taxes. Whoo. Taxes. So when to sell. So if we sell our house, we want to make sure the country we're in is not going to consider that income. We want to make sure that we're not doing things that tie us up tax-wise here in the States. Get a certified professional accountant. Mm-hmm. Get a CPA. I've talked about, look in your state directory for a CPA. Get in your groups, in your community. Ask people, who are you using for your taxes? Please, please, please. So Greta has made a suggestion about a book. Okay, so yes, The Simple Path to Wealth.
Yeah, I would check that out.
Let's see some other resources as we're talking about income is where you are and then considering where you're going. So we've talked about Numbeo before on this channel. It can give you some ballpark figures. And then Expat is another. I know there's a third. And I think Dr. Linda always reminds me of what that is. But yeah, so there are I wish there was, the social savings clubs used to be a thing when my grandparents were, when they were young parents and growing. I really think we should be recreating those social savings clubs. It was a way to learn and encourage each other. If somebody was doing something to boost their income, that you would have a community of people that would invest in buying a plate or, allowing you to come and do their lawn service, because it was, we were a community contributing to each other, for the advancement of our home and our families. And I really wish we had something like that. People are just scared. If I'm divulge that I don't know or I don't have, that I'm going to be looked down on. Baby, I don't care. At this point, I just want to win. And winning looks like knowing more and then taking action And then the piece that is, I think, another part of the Black community is that we share, that we share what we know.
It is the only way that the Black community is finally going to grow. Is we have to share with each other in honesty. We have to learn to trust each other, and we have to be trustworthy. And we have to be ready to take risks as a community. I think too often we work within the safety confines of what we feel, comfortable doing, and then the people come around us and steal our ideas, and then grow with it, and then we're out of business on an idea that what's the little hot Nashville hot chicken place, and they still in the same little building, and the other brethren have taken that same concept and have chain.
They created a business chain of restaurants
that is virtually putting the original little restaurant out of business. And when they interviewed the white guy, he said that was never my intention. It was to honor them, but he made the process grow on their concept. We got to stick together and press our efforts up. 99.9% of this country would not exist if we had never come here. The mechanics, the structure, the architecture, the concepts, the ideas, the principles are literally on our backs. And then we find these little hubble of things, and we do this little bit of something and then say, oh, well, nobody wants it. Or we come over there asking for the hookup from people. It costs what it costs. And charge for it. Your skills, your craft is worth it. Charge for it. It's funny, people will pay when you charge for it, and they will ask you for the hookup when you underprice yourself.
Yeah. So here it is. Sandra's she's just giving a little bit of the knowledge right here. So I was concerned. I have some concern now that we are doing more freelance work, now that we are doing more, what's going to happen to growing my investment account. You can do dollar cost averaging. You can do trading. You can learn to trade as another part. I really want to just use that to increase and grow our investments. It's not factored into but you got some dividends and I need them. I'm going to use them instead of reinvesting it. So, I mean, that just the options and opportunities are out there. And I think people should consider what do I realistically need to save? So in the States, if you are somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 a month in maintaining your household, and you're saying 3 to 6 months, you're talking, $20,000, $30,000. But when my cost of living in Thailand is $1,200 to $1,500, now your 3 to 6 month budget looks completely different and probably much more doable.
It looks like your 1 month here.
Yeah. So I want people to, as much as we're thinking about what does my income need to be, it needs to be based in reality. What does my savings need to be? You need to leave with money because you're going to still have startup funds, and I almost want to call it the stupid tax. Like, I didn't know I needed to ask that. Somebody's going to scam me. I'm going to get scammed. So it's not a surprise. I'm going to get, not that I want to be a target, but if you're not building in that buffer in your budget, transportation costs can get you, so looking at, how to construct your budget based on real numbers, and then padding it, especially in those early months of transitioning. But then the math has to math. If for the first month you are eating out every day and it is not to local restaurant owners, you're going to Burger King and McDonald's and KFC in China and wherever you are.
And even the local food, even if you're eating the local food, it's exciting to do the things you never had to do before, but you got to live like you're going to be living, and so that you can maintain a balance. I love that Aging Grateful said that they're using the
every dollar.
The every dollar. We use the Every Dollar app, and that they're, instead of having just cash in it, they have separate accounts, which they use like a cash system. So the transportation comes from this account, the going out and groceries comes from this account. So they know what they're spending from what, and when that is tapped, and they say, hey, we're doing too much, or we had some things that were unexpected, and so they have
to course correct quickly,
right? And not, we don't know where the money went because we spent it all on Uber. That if you can find somebody you follow that helps you provide information, and these young people have done an Irish journey, they've done an excellent job on providing information. That's all I say about that. I'm gonna leave that right there.
So I mean, we're talking about income and savings because it's going to be tight. We're going to be living a minimalist lifestyle intentionally. Our goal is to leave. And so, it would be nice to be able to have a robust salary where, we could, but we're planning as though we're going to make, what, $3,000-$4,000 a month, some in euros or some, or it's USD, USD based funds, and it's got to last us. So if we do well this month, that's great. Things might go a little sideways. Aging Grateful talked about, oh my God. So everybody's talking about utilities are so inexpensive and so affordable. And then they got that $700+ electric bill because it's hot at the beach.
Yeah.
It's hot at the beach. And so you tried to just breathe.
Yeah.
And you're saying, okay, so yes, part of our utilities is subsidized, but if I go beyond that, then it's going to cost me. And they don't do we let it roll over to the next month, that you might find in the States with the utilities. You don't pay, it get cut off. And so, just kind of being able to expect the unexpected is going to keep my anxiety at a reasonable level where I'm being an effective partner and not.
But you know what?
Getting on your nerves.
But you know what? Here's the thing about that. And she says that a lot. She doesn't get on my nerves. Here's the thing: is it helps me to pay attention to where is she safe. And we talk about safety again. If this is an issue, then let's double down on making sure this is an area that we are buttoning up, that we are taking care of in a way that says, okay, how are we filling this need so that she isn't in anxiety? Because an anxious partner doesn't help. It just doesn't, because then and because it goes both ways. It goes both ways. When I'm anxious to the point of fretting, I'm not useful.
He doesn't take action, which it makes me, makes me anxious when he's trying to navigate through his emotions. He's not going, his response time back to me about either taking action or something, or what should we do, it's a much slower process. Mm-hmm. It's just the nature of being a couple. But when you have the pressure of, I don't have a backup.
Yeah.
I don't have, I'm in a place where I'm responsible for taking care of myself. The government expects for me to, to take care of myself. and I have that expectation, what are we going to do? I was talking with Anita yesterday, and I was like, what do you do in an emergency? And she was like, you plan for it. You have a little savings account that's like, I need to get home to my kids. And like she's had a couple of major family emergencies. And she was just like, I'm on a plane in a day or two. That's some serious cash, depending on how far away from home you are or anywhere. I mean, travel, as Adelia, Peaky Girl Travels the World, has talked about, these travel costs have been insane. So if you're trying to travel within 2 days, you need to have you need to have a couple of options to get on the ground.
Pay attention to the things where you've had consistent success and consistent failure. If you're doing the same thing and it's causing you problems, then that thing needs to be tossed out the window. And we're not talking about when you're successful, you're lucky. Oh, that worked out for me. No, when we put this together, this always does this. We had some things that really worked out for us when we were paying off some debts, and it's easy to get comfortable out of that space. If you always live like you have $5, even though you now have $50, you got $5 in your brain. You work from that concept. You got $45 you always putting in the hole, so that when it blows up, look, you now got this hidden cash. And we're not talking about you hiding it in the wall so that when you died poor and nobody knew, and then they come and break your walls up and everybody got rich. We're talking about you're living within a comfortable mean. If you're living within a tight mean and you need to expand that because you got a chance to do better because that was really in the hole, that makes sense. But you don't live all the way to the new advance. Make those plannings work. Put the budget in effect, leave the budget in effect. And the budget can be adjusted down as much as it can be adjusted up. If you downsize and minimize, then your budget doesn't need to stay as high as it is. You actually can downsize a little bit.
What I'm also having to factor in is a couple of things. Yesterday's prices aren't today's prices.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, as we've talked about, that has impacted where we might go, because of how strong the dollar is in comparison to the local currency. The other is, just the idea that currency shifts could take an affordable apartment and make it unaffordable over the course of the year of your lease, if you're choosing to not bop around the world. And so, just kind of looking at, I have to have a window of affordability, especially if I'm leaving and I don't really have a lot of growth potential in my budget. So yes, I can afford it today, but I want to say, if things go up 10 or 15%, I can still live here and not stress myself out.
I don't want to run from one country to the next because I'm not prepared. And now I'm always broke trying to run from poverty that I created myself.
Those rivers of income, yes, use your talents. It's why I love the people that I watch on YouTube. Is, look, if I can make this money for somebody else, then apparently I have some talents that will, being able to double down, look at what people are asking for. I've been looking at just straight up customer service jobs. I was like, I can talk to people, I can train people, I can, virtual assistants, I can do those kinds of things. Yeah, if that's what gets you out the door, then being able to see that as a possibility and that gets you going. I'm not waiting on the dream job.
Right.
I'm not waiting on the dream job. Thank you, Greta, for sharing your story. Yes, it is not too late. And I was embarrassed to say, look, I didn't really have a job. Yes, I did not have a job that that had a retirement. I mean, it just was the nature of the jobs. Now you understand, young people. Now you understand why. Yes, you are looking. Did they give me a strong salary offer? You need to dig into those benefits,
Mhm.
because that may be
Mhm.
where you can leverage a whole lot more wins.
Mhm.
Is in the benefit department. They are sharing. We are sharing now, at my company, how much the insurance costs, what is the coverage, what are your out of pocket maximums, because yeah, that can be a differentiator. So um yeah, I don't want to miss saying any of those. Let's see. So better investing is also another great way to learn about investing. Yes, collective economics. We can. We can do so much better. We have the track for that. The green, if y'all need an example, the green book is how we understood here in the US, where was it safe for us to go for housing, to to eat when you were
Mhm.
out,
Mhm.
when you were traveling the country. This is what racism required of us. There is a huge shift to Black people from many places on the globe. There probably should be something that gives people a roadmap. I think all of these YouTube channels that are from the US, Barbados, the UK, the US, Canada, you know uh, we are versions of a green book that are telling people how to do this. So I'm so proud to see it. That yeah, we, we are not independent individual entities,
Mhm.
because other people have always.
All communities seem to
And
do it
I
better
was
than
about
we
to say
do.
their communities. They're building hospitals. They have their own delis. They have their own.
They live together.
Yes,
In this neighborhood, we have several East Indian families and children,
intergenerational.
grandchildren, great grandchildren. I mean, a little bit of family life sacrifice. Now, for us, we have to set the rules differently. Okay, you have to decide whose house it is. If great grandma is here, she's gonna act like it's her house. But you know, and we get into one our own space. But 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 that community together, rebuilding together, supporting each other through the processes, and not having everybody in the space that we have to pay for, because you got grandma in care and great grandma in care and granddaddy in care because he and grandma not together no more, and we spending money all over the place taking care of people, and we got 6 rooms in our house that nobody sleeps in.
That's cash just sitting down. That's just cash. So yes, we did watch, the day it came out, and I actually put it on my page. Yeah. So uh, Adelia, Peaky Girl Travels the World, was just on CNBC again, sharing her story and giving some real, background about, yes, it is. I saw that I had the ability to leave, but I also restructured my life so that it is a sustainable move abroad. So that is what we're doubling down on.
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm I will delay leaving if it will allow me the ability to have a sustainable move abroad. I'm interested in leaving and leaving and leaving
And not
and
leaving
not
and running
leaving
back.
and running back.
Yeah. If
This
we accept that if circumstances are what they are, and we have to transition here for a while back, then we're prepared to do that. But that's because of circumstances outside of our control, and not because we didn't plan, not because we rushed. We want 2024 to be our year. We're going to speak 2024. But if 2024 ends and we aren't ready, we're not jumping.
Come on now.
When I was 9, 10, I still was early in my swimming, which means I couldn't swim. And we were living in Tampa, and we went to Adventure Island, a bunch of friends and family friends. And my god brother, who's slightly older than me, we had all been, in the pools and diving. And he saw couple of his schoolmates, and he jumped into this pool, and they were, what I figured out later, were treading water across the pool. To an unexperienced swimmer, it looked like they were walking across the pool. To try to keep up, I ran around to the side of the pool and jumped into the middle of the pool. I was about here before I realized things were bad. And I remember the lifeguard just looking down at me, because there were a lot of people who were pretending to drown.
Yeah.
And I remember
hated that as a lifeguard.
I remember being terrified because I had jumped in the water. I couldn't manage. Other people's water is not your water. Don't jump in the waters you can't swim in. If your feet can't hit the ground and you still got neck room, get out of that water. That's not your space. Take baby steps. Sandra, every time I watch your channel, every time I watch your Wednesday night, I watch the beginning section, because I'm a beginner. I'm a baby. I don't get it. I'm on milk. I don't understand. But I come because I want to learn, and I will keep I will keep laying and sitting in the baby pen and holding on to the side of the chairs to walk until I figure out what's going on, because that's what's safe for me.
Yeah.
I told her when we were dating, I will apologize for a mistake. I hate apologizing for some bull that if I had just taken some time to think, I didn't have to say, I didn't have to do. And I want to be able to say, I made a mistake I didn't know, and not, that was just stupid. And I'm tired of living in, that's just stupid. Mm-hmm. And this is our talk, as we're trying to keep people out of that was just stupid. There was no need for you to do that. Stop telling people that there are stupid questions. If you didn't think before you asked, that's a stupid question.
But don't
avoid asking the questions. Keep
yes.
asking questions, but make sure you're putting your brain into gear before putting your mouth into motion.
Nina.
That's my mama saying. That was my mama saying. It is better to keep your mouth closed and appear dumb than to open it and remove all doubt. Hey, think before you speak.
Now you understand we're of a certain age. So I mean, the realities, that's why we binge watch. So he's on the road. I'm just like, I'm sending you stuff to watch because people are sharing real information. But the reality is, if you could spend $5 and somebody else has prepared your food,
and you got a whole meal,
and you
take some home for later.
I'm just saying,
hey.
but also the affordability of food is one thing. Mm-hmm. It's also made me look at what is in those apartments that I'm looking at, those condos, and what is missing. So we literally have a list where we're just like, I want a washer and dryer combo. I want to make sure we have a stove and an oven, because as much as I enjoy eating out, when you're over 50, cholesterol, sodium, they're not friendly to your blood vessels as they were when you were much younger. And so I still am I want to take responsibility, but I mean, if you can't travel and not eat, and Sandra's also shared, just be careful of those street vendors. That's all I'll say about that.
Oh yeah, I like that right there.
So,
yeah, Greta, I hear that.
Yes. Oh, lifestyle creep. So just to break that down for those who don't understand, is you're making a level of money, and then you get in, your income grows from whatever factors. Mm-hmm. Things are really jumping off to a good start. If you don't have a structure to how you spend money, it's easy to say, we've got it. Right here. I will admit it, that I will go in the grocery store and just be like, I know there's money in the account. I just want to buy this. Herman calls me every day when he leaves work and says, "Do you need me to pick up something?" And I've had to resist a few times with saying, "Hey, could you just pick up so and so and so and so?" Because when I look at, could you just pick up so and so and so and so, that Joan is $50. You walking out with one bag and you didn't spend $60.
And I asked the question because it helps keep me in check, because I would just stop and buy stuff because it's just easier sometimes. If I know I've come to the late day and I haven't prepared us a meal, or I don't want to come home and cook, or she hasn't had time to prepare something, then it's easy for me to say, "Hey, you want me to stop and get something?" And it's at the store. We're not stopping to buy food out a lot, because that's just, we've decided a long time ago that wasn't our budget. But every once in a while, it's like, "Hey, so-and-so got hot food on the bar. Can I stop and get us that?"
And so we have to build that into, the budget. One way we have, and I heard, I wish I could find that video, the guy with the deep voice from Dave Ramsey.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember Coach Bill. He interviewed a gentleman that was in the military, and what he said was, when he reached, it was roughly about $30,000. So he had a full career in the military. And so what he said was, we continued to live on $30,000, even though I was making more and more money, because he was like, "This is what I need to live on." Mm-hmm. And so the way that I know how to do that, and the way that it has worked for us, that I have reinstituted for 2024, is the money for the bills goes into one account.
Correct.
Then we have savings pots. Mm-hmm. And if you are with an employer, you can go, and they have a self-service portal. Then I have been able to say, okay, bills that we know that are coming out on an annual basis, on a biannual basis, monthly, I know exactly how much those bills are going to be. So literally, I can put a certain amount in that account every month, and it just goes, so that the home budget, mm-hmm. Has some room for us to, some play money, mm-hmm. but also that's where we have our unexpected expenses. And so because we've shifted so much of what we do, car payments, mm-hmm. life insurance, all of those things, to an annual, then I can put that money, I can just say, okay, all of this costs this, divide by 26 pay periods, mm-hmm. and then that just goes automatically into that account. And then I'm not having to think about it every month, but it makes that pot smaller. And then, mm-hmm. If I'm getting an increase, you can automatically, let's see, so when we get our cost of living, merit raises, whatever, then you can automatically increase your retirement savings account with your employer by 1% every year. It's automatic. You don't even have to think about it. And then we've got pots. That's this savings account at this bank that goes directly from my payroll, goes into, hey, this is the money we're going to need to, that we want to have our 3 to 6 months mm-hmm. in. This savings account is for, whatever. And so you don't see it. And you're just like, oh, that's what I have left.
That's what I have to work with.
That's what I have to work with.
And we're trying to move back to another one of our previous successes, and circumstances have pushed us out of it. And that's where part, most, or all of one of our checks goes directly into savings as beginning of our financial growth plan, so that we are living off of one income.
That's what we started with. That is what helped us to pay off the student loans. Correct. And we just kind of let lifestyle creep just kind of,
well, it was a part
I love that.
It was a part of that. And it was also, we've had some employment changes. We've had some debt unexpected debt expectations and things. So there's been some money that shifted, not because necessarily we became irresponsible. It's just things changed.
I mean, when you knuckle down with paying back debt, the pushback is once I've reached my goal, I don't want to live like that anymore. And so when in the lifestyle creep conversation, it's yes, this country or these countries that I'm choosing to visit or live in, you know, now I have more discretionary income. How do I shift my mindset? Looking at your emotional response to money, continuing to reassess your relationship with money is going to need to develop into the move abroad process.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how experienced you are with this process. This is something that you have to make a lifestyle change. Money. When we were children, gas prices were like 25 cents a gallon. I remember, and my dad had a little black book about the size of this phone. And my dad had a little black book, and he would get in the car and he would write in that book what he spent on gas, how many gallons he got. And he had that little ledger, and he would, once that ledger was full, he started a new ledger. And he did that for decades. And we are excited when gas is $2.79 now. We're ecstatic. And gas was last summer was almost $4 here in a low, financial area. And I just
Jay Stokes, this is so okay. So I was like, our budget doesn't really have any room in it to start investing. And I started literally with $25. I was just like, okay, when you don't see it, you don't miss it. And that time plus consistency is how you grow money. I'm not in there. Look, I do check. And I'm very thankful of how well the market is doing now. But there was a time, in 2020, I was just like, baby, don't even look. It was like 6 months a year before I would even peek because I was terrified. People were watching, a third, a fourth of their investment.
I have a coworker who had come to, I'm about to retire, who, when the market dropped, he said $250,000 out of his investment funds. And he long since needed to have stopped working for all kind of physical reasons. And he stayed at work. Well, then he had an injury earlier this year. He's been off work the whole time because he got injured during a holiday. And, so on top of that, so now he's trying to come back to work. And I didn't tell you about that. In his rehab, he's hurt himself because he's trying to do too much. And that cycle, no. David, make that money, man. Listen to that woman. She's talking to you. Make that money. If you got the talents for it, make that money. And I'm talking to myself. It's me throwing it off on you. I'm transferring.
Okay. So children. So we were really supposed to end at an hour. We're really going to try to tie it up.
It's a good conversation.
One thing that will not be a part of our budget this year is we've helped the kids as much as we have helped them this year. It's going to need to look different. I cannot. I have a hard time saying no to my kids if they have a need. If I see that they need help,
but their needs are hurting us.
Yeah,
and we've had to say to them, I can assist you. I can't fix it for you. They are at the beginning of their life experiences. They're at the beginning of, for some of them, which could be careers. And so there's a lot of fumbling. There's a lot of, they're still in that phase of life, in that developmental phase where people that they hold in regard can provide misinformation to them. And, we're just the parents. We're just, but my supervisor said, yes, but your supervisor is talking about something that does not directly relate to you. I need you to find out that information for yourself. If they're right, they're right. But I need you to double check that. And it's funny how a technologically addicted generation hates to use technology to find out the information they need. When COVID hit, they struggled with online school, but they online all the time for everything. And so trying to walk them through back the pick up the phone, call the HR department, pick up your phone, call your insurance company, take your stuff to the bank, look into your account systems regularly, follow your records. We've given them all safe boxes, and make sure you have your records in those boxes. And when you're at the bank, make sure if you're spending money, look at your accounting of what you're doing. And those simple things they struggle with. And I recognize that I do too. And so I'm talking to them and trying to make sure that I'm not transferring my frustrations and anxieties with myself onto them. And so, this question here.
It was really, I put Alam's post up because the annual enrollment time is when my son, he met with me twice. I was like, oh, your mommy works in benefits, and he took full advantage of it so that I could talk to him about, okay, so this is what matching funds mean. This, make sure that you're checking your withholdings and being able to estimate how much your taxes are. Making sure that, hey, they've got a wellness incentive, go get that money, put that in if they have a high deductible plan that you're able to use your HSA to put money in, it rolls over. You don't have to spend it down at the end of the year, in comparison to the FSA, your flexible spending account. So we are able to provide support and guidance to our young people so that they're able to, to have some skills to be able to care for themselves.
But to say at certain times, this is your responsibility.
Yes.
We took a van and got it fixed. And then we said to my daughter, because this van is in your care, you're going to have to reimburse this amount of the funds because you will be taking care of the car. You will be driving the car. I expect to see her today with my money. It's what it is. KB, yes. I was up at 6:30 this morning online teaching English tutoring classes because the money needs to be made. And that's just a part of making sure that process stay. Whatever I got to do, that's what we're going to do.
Yes.
That's why I just answered it together with what you had.
Yep.
Let's see.
So, we are sharing the approaches that we're taking, the tools that we're using. I don't think I've mentioned Every Dollar. So Every Dollar is a free app that allows you to say, this is how much income that you bring in. It is a zero-based budget. So what it's asking you to do is to put in and what I did was I just looked over several months and got an average for utilities, how much your mortgage or your rent is. You're putting in those numbers. And then, miscellaneous funds, oil changes, things like that, medical, you need to get your medicine from the pharmacy. There are places to put all of those kinds of things. Haircuts, well, I don't have to do that anymore. So just giving yourself something that, and then something that tracks the money that you bring in so that you can see, because it will go from green to red on budget items. The one thing that we have learned from using it is whatever you estimate your food budget to be, double it, because you're always going to spend more. But that is, I think, what happens in the US. I don't think, I still would plan a healthy food budget, but it definitely, I mean, we walked out of Publix with one bag,
Yeah, but
and spent
yeah.
and spent $60.
Yeah,
I
but
was like, I can't,
we
especially when we came, when
we
we had
bought
gotten back from Mexico, and we were just like,
we bought a 3-gallon thing of water and all of these groceries, and we spent like $25, and we were like, that was it. Yeah, I'm always gonna say it loud for the men, D. I'm always gonna say it loud for the men. That's a strong comment there. Hey, April.
hey, April. Yeah, but for whatever reason, I think doubling down on community, getting with people who are like-minded, that have a similar goal, it's definitely how you can get synergy, encouragement, motivation, new strategies. People are identifying opportunities and sharing them. So if you did not watch our remote work conversation with Ozzy, like we were just sharing, hey, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm looking, this is how I'm, you know, creating the opportunities to learn what is available. And then, yeah, there are some lifestyle shifts, like, oh, you made your own creamer? What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's because you have more time, and you got to probably some deeper skills. I tell you, the drying my clothes. Oh, I should really put that picture up.
Oh
So
man,
we wash the clothes. We've
in,
got a
in,
washing machine.
we're in Spain.
No, no, no.
No, when?
Okay, so we've done it twice. So
Okay.
when we were in Mexico City,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you
right.
can tell we newbies. So I'm turning the clothes over so that they continue to air dry. Y'all, it rained. I was on the phone with my best friend, and I was just like, oh, it's really coming down out there. So I get off the phone with her, and I'm just like, oh.
Because I called from our son and I had gone out that night, and I said, we're trying to get back, but it's raining. And she's like, oh my God, it's raining. And those half dry clothes were soaking wet.
Yes. Yes, the rule of 72, get to know that, live on less, definitely living on less than you make, the 4% rule, that your money doubles. I mean, get in these groups so that you understand these concepts. My money is in the market when it is low. My money is in the market when it is high. My job is to continue to invest because it's coming back. And
yeah.
Boy, did it come back um, with a mighty rushing wind. We have decided not to do some things that would, so we're talking income and plus savings. But there is a minus to this formula, and that is debt. So next week we're going to be talking about debt on the last live for this year. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely pick up these this information, massage it, look at your budget. What can you do? What can you do now? Could you sell some plates? Could you, what is it called? Cottage law. April and I talked about, there's some cottage law industry things you can do.
Knit some blankets.
Hey,
make some baby clothes. Yeah. As a man going through this move abroad process, I'm experiencing stresses and anxiety that I didn't know I had. And not a community. Man, listen.
I'm gonna step out the frame while you talk.
So I am getting ready to begin a regular
Monday. You're gonna do it.
Okay, she told me starting this Monday, called Man Monday, because the amount of anxiety, the amount of feeling overwhelmed that I recognize as we as men are experiencing, especially in this move abroad process, especially as partners in this process, it is not regular for us to have the space to say, I'm afraid, I'm unsure, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, I'm sick. It's almost like this country has built in that we're supposed to work till we die. And whenever that is, we're just dead. And then we should have resources in place so that the people behind us can live for the next 30 years. I'd like to be here to invest in and live on the money I made for us and not the money I made for y'all. I, I want my family to be safe and secure, but I want to experience that with them. I'm not trying to die so that my family can live, and wanting to experience the joy of life. That looks different for everybody. If you want to work, I have a coworker. He said he's working till he's 67. He is having a ball. I say leave men alone who enjoy that. If that is their joy, leave them alone. If you want to work till 95, do you. Don't take a man's life away from him because you want him to be different. Now, if he's out there killing himself, drag his happy ass out of there and put him where he needs to be. Because you have to be our protectors as well. We as men need protectors too. We don't need you to be our mama. We don't need you to be our boss. It used to frustrate me to watch Claire Huxtable take Heathcliff sandwiches away. There was a way to help him without, manhandling him. But sometimes some people need that, and that applies to everybody else. But there is a measure of wanting to make this process work together that is an us process and not a me planning for you process. And she walked that screen like that was an infomercial.
Yeah. So, experiencing stressors, anxiety, I think one of the lives that we did, the men lacking community, I think the men started to talk about why the move abroad process may touch some areas emotionally.
Some serious trigger points.
That, if I don't have work, who am I? Mm-hmm. What, I've always had this job. What if the life that I have here, I can't recreate somewhere else? And it's all about, for me, mm-hmm. It is about, I have survived here in the States. That means I can survive anywhere. But I believe leaving, survival will help me to embrace living and thriving. Mm-hmm. And so if I could make this work, I think I am resourceful and creative enough to be able to make a life outside the US, to be able to say, yes, we are moving. We are making the math, and that I might not have everything, all of the money that I would want, all of the security of those funds before we leave, but I'm willing to live a lifestyle that is modest, and is within a structure that will get us some ways down the road. Mm-hmm. And that mm-hmm. we're able to retool, because flying back to the States every 3 months, I don't have a budget for that. That's for the birds. But I think fortunately that could be helpful. Let's see, so let me tell you, this man did not go home except for Christmas break and when it was the end of the semester, our first year in college. Mm-hmm. I went home every weekend because my daddy said, "You want to come home?" Yes, I want to come home. And I was home every weekend until one of my girlfriends said, "Are you at college or are you still at home?" And I was like, oh, so That reversed that. I think being close enough but far enough will help us. If we need to be home, we're home.
If we start off with, and it's a possibility, if we start off close by and we do house sits, and at the end of every house sit we come back, it means the house is closed for 3 weeks, or the house is in Airbnb for 3 weeks, or 6 weeks, or whatever. That's a starting process, and again, we're exploring all the options because everything is on the table. And because everything is a growth opportunity.
Right in the chat, people are talking about
where's
the money? Oh, Ally, man, they are killing the game. They have been for a while. That savings game. Sandra, I could eat on a week for $60. I'm telling you, air dry. Yes, your clothes do last longer when you air dry. I mean, I'm just saying, once we move to an I've got to figure it out, or I figured it out and you need to figure it out yourself, it is a lose-lose.
Yes, making that own bread. That's my bread girl. She don't make bread enough for me, because listen, and I told her I don't care what kind of bread she make, I'll turn it into a sandwich, man. Bread maker.
When we were having financial difficulty, I was baking all the bread we ate: sandwich bread, rolls, dinner rolls, cornbread. I was making all of the bread that we ate. Having those skills, dry beans, babe, give me dry beans any day. I'm not eating no beans out no can.
It is what I am not looking forward to in 2024. So it's why 2024 is such a pivotal number. Yeah.
It is a go. It is a go. Seeing what I'm saying now, I'm just like, what horror movie are we in? Like, I never thought we would get to make the decisions and roll back decisions that had been American law for decades.
Listen here, my girl here. I'm gonna tell it. I'm telling it. So you've heard her. Yeah, you've heard us mention. I'm looking at the camera. I never look at the camera. I'm looking at the camera. You've heard us mention that who was the baby? We bought that freezer. Anyway,
it was Jeremiah when Jeremiah was a baby.
Yeah, when our 22-year-old was a baby, we bought this deep freezer. And we bought that deep freezer with the plan of, kind of storing some things that, and we had one crock pot. And she started buying dry beans, and she would freeze these dry beans. She would cook these dry beans and we would freeze them. And I told her that I am going to can those beans and I am going to sell them, because I've had dry beans cooked and fresh and made before, but don't nobody make beans like my baby. And we talking about black eyed peas. We talking about kidney beans, large and small red. We talking about cannonellis. We talking about garbanzo beans, black beans, pinto beans. Listen, we about to put Bush out of business, because baby girl, my freezer right now is 2/3 dry beans. A pound of dry beans, Pisces. Listen, you said a whole word, because listen, we went through a few years of really hard financial times. And those dry beans cooked in it. I spent money and brought 2 more crock pots. And those dry beans in those crock pots, those bushels of greens that we bought and cooked in the pot and froze, those pounds of rice that we steamed and then bagged and froze, and those became some of those plates I told you about. Those became, I don't have anything today, what's in the freezer so we can make sure the kids ate. We've been there. We've been there. She told me the other day she was selling the freezer. I look at her like she lost her everlasting mind. It will be the last thing to leave this house. You can sell the furniture. You can get rid of the bed. My freezer will be here when I leave until I leave.
Now you understand the emotional attachment that we have to certain items.
You can sell the car
because what it represents.
But that freezer was our connection to we can hold on a little while longer. So
I'm all right, Greta's quoting scripture in the chat, y'all. What I have to say is freedom is out there. The struggle to be the struggle to be is not it. That is not our end goal. Our end, I believe, for us is that when I need to rest, I rest. When I want to explore, I explore. When I have a desire to be creative, that I have the time and the space to do that. And I will never buy the lie again that you don't have enough. I've got enough know-how. I've got enough motivation. Dr. Linda says, who are you willing? I mean, if you can double down for your employer, if it's all on the table and it is your skills, your people will, you put it out there properly. Don't just have something and you create it and you keep it over here. Be in the places where people are looking for the things. And I'm telling you, Stephanie and Rashida had given me so much information and encouragement and things to create introspection. When they said we have a summit, I was just like, where do I sign up? Because even if I didn't find anything helpful, which that first year, and they were highlighting women that had moved abroad that were sharing their stories of moving to France and Mexico and Italy and all these places in the world. And they were talking about residency versus, citizenship and how you do the thing. I was just like, where do I, this is how I reinvest in you because you have invested in me. There are people out there that want to do that when you are sharing your talent, when you are sharing your skill, your experience, the rough side and the easy side. So I think how to leave the US is valuing yourself, having your money together, because that's how we live life. There are barter opportunities, but that's not the current society we live in. And that every country is asking us to be self-sufficient. I have heard stories where people have landed in places because we have created this place is so affordable. Everybody needs to leave their home country and go to this country. And then you come looking for a food bank in the country that you're living in. That's not how, that is definitely not the message that we want people to take from watching our move abroad. When we say move abroad with us, this is how we're leaving the US. We're talking about, we're going to put down these major stakes, knowing that, we'll have to have a flexible mindset. But we're talking about the pillars that will get you out the door, that I feel like are going to be successful in helping us to get out the door. Y'all know after 2024, we're going to share, okay, we talked about plan versus reality with Aging Grateful and Tracy Collins. We're going to be doing the same thing. Did having this money, this savings, this income strategy, because if it costs less to live in the country of your dreams, considering getting a job there is going to be less. So, I mean, I'm not expecting that I'm going to get a job somewhere else. That is what I'm bringing with me. And I think money is one reason why people do not consider moving abroad, is because there are misgivings about, if I'm struggling in the US, that I'll struggle abroad, that I've struggled to get this level of income, and I'm I'm in survival mode here. But if I made half of what I make, I could do, not just in the same survival letter, I could really do even better because the cost of living is more affordable.
You learn that from these community moments.
Yes.
You learn that from these community engagements. We are, with intention, a community channel. We didn't start off to be just H&D. We started off because we wanted to build a community, and a community is here. A lot of pages don't do what I do, what I'm about to do, what I try to do every time we end this session is I'm going to shout out all the people who are in this chat, who, if you are new or you aren't subscribed, you need to subscribe to them. You need to subscribe to Midlife Money Moves with Greta King. You need to subscribe to Positively Prill. You need to subscribe to From Lack to Legacy. You need to subscribe to our Exodus Life. You need to subscribe to It's a Wonderful Travel Life with Nikki and David. You need to subscribe to to Kende Travel with Dr. Linda.
There are so many channels that, and the people that we've interviewed that have their own channel. We're bringing folks forward so that you have really solid people who say it is doable. We're going to talk about debt next week. There's some debt that I'm just like, I cannot leave here and I have this. And then there's other debt that I'm just like, you get it, you're going to get it like you've been getting it while we've been here in the States. I cannot pay everybody off, or we will be here more than the year, and then we would have paid off debt, and then we have no savings. We'll have no, and then mayhem will find us, and we'll always end up in the loop of we don't have enough to leave.
We're going to shift the conversation in our house, and we want to shift that conversation with you. We recognize that we may have to carry a few baggage bags out of the house with us so that we can dump them out somewhere else. We got to scatter that trash around, because if we keep trying to take it out to the street in front of our house, it's going to keep blowing back into our house.
Yep.
And it is time for the change, and we can't do it. Dee and I cannot do this without you.
Yep.
Like the video, share the video, subscribe to our page, subscribe to all the pages I just mentioned. Go out there and find Lamar and Angela. Go out there and find Move Abroad and Thrive. Go out there and find
Our Black Utopia.
Picky Girl Travels the World, Rashida Dow, Stephanie Perry. Who else have we talked to? Go through our videos, and we have talked to people who get on their pages and hook up.
And half of those folk have left. I'm just like
the gallivanting granny. I didn't mention her earlier. Get on the gallivanting granny.
Yeah.
These are conversations that are connection points. And I want us, yes, our Black Utopia. These are our people.
Yes.
Aging Grateful. You heard us talk about Aging Grateful. Those are my folk. Jump on with these people and Tracy Collins, and let's grow together. And if you got a concept, we'll support you. Go out there and do it. Absolutely. We'll stand with you. We'll come and watch. We'll live. We got Replay Gang. We got some people who won't ever make it to the live, but they deep off in the comment section. If you are part of the replay process, you didn't get a chance to watch us live, please leave comments. Thank you. Please leave comments, because we want this conversation to continue. If you left a comment, come back and check, because we did comment to you. There may be a whole level of conversation we're willing to have you. There are some of you we are trying to reach because you left comments in the comment section. we tight like that. Let's be down.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the student loan, because that is probably, if I were to say what my 2021 regret was, it was paying all that student loan debt.
And then they turned around and charged us for it.
So we'll talk about it. We will definitely. Oh, Maya Spikes writes. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you for subscribing.
Thank you for subscribing. We really appreciate it. Yeah.
We love you all. You all the best. Sandra, go to bed.
No, yes, go to bed.
Go to bed, Sandra. Keep dropping them videos. I'm loving it. You need to put yourself more in the video though. We want to swoon with you and not just see the water too. Come on, get in the video with yourself. We want to be able to wave at you. But we love you all. Good to see you all.
Happy holidays,
Happy
everyone.
holidays.
If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. Herman's going to upload a video on Monday, even though it's Christmas Day. And then we are kicking off our Kwanzaa. So we will be doing, we'll be posting every day, the last week of the year and the first week of the year. With content. So
and watch for videos expressing some of our upcoming projects that we have. Subscribe to our newsletter.
Absolutely.
See you soon.
Take care, everyone. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Bye.